I'm going to do some more analysis of this area known as Mare Humboldtianum. Well, that's meant to be that one there, that huge one's about 125 kilometers, and that was taken by a UK telescope, and that was on Damien Peach's Facebook site. So he's got quite a few of these lunar images from the telescope. So it was taken by an area of the moon that just wobbles occasionally to expose itself to Earth's gaze, and most of the times you can't see it. So the area that I'm focusing on, the more I look, the more I see. There's that thing coming out of that perfect hole there, and all of a sudden the hole next to it is like a cone. There's something in there, and there's a nice side hole coming there with what appears like a huge worm sticking his head out. I know that sounds crazy, but I'll zoom in, and there's a structure that seems to hide in that perfectly dug out. It looks more like a mining hole than actually a moon crater. See it there, that thing? And there's all these structures, like always in the edges of these things, and that worm that sticks its head out, or something, a drilling machine, something coming out producing that hole there. And there's something in that one. So I'll quickly just go in the pictures I've taken, and it's bizarre. So this is actually the video to actually show the areas closer. So that's that thing coming out, which I think's caught a trail behind. It's very high speed. That's that thing in that hole there. Look at it. It's actually a round thing with a ball on top. Don't tell me that's a natural rock. And you'll see all these bizarre curves and everything, and all of a sudden, look at that. It's like a drilling machine or a huge worm coming out of that hole there. It looks as though these holes are artificially produced, and that structure just sitting there in the edge of that one, but it's just perfectly flat. There's three close together. How can that happen accidentally by meteors just striking it and being perfectly flat, and then some are endlessly deep? Okay, that's too far away to focus in on, so I'll just concentrate on the ones we can home in on. And it's like these holes are left by crawling things coming out of those holes. There's a perfect example right there. So that's why I was very perplexed with this one, because it's very rarely seen. It was shot by telescope 17th of April, and I'm sure it photographs something coming out of that hole very quickly at high speed, because the shadow is correct. It's to the left hand side, and that's that thing's bizarre. Look at it. It's as though it's actually a drilling implement coming out of that hole produced. I've taken a few close-up shots, and that thing just seems to be coming out at very high speed. Okay, now we'll go. That's finished. We'll go to the pictures now and analyze them. So that's the first picture, or the last one as it's actually downloaded. Now that's that thing that seems to be coming out of that hole. It's like a big worm, or a drilling device. Look at it. There's the hole, and there it is coming out. I know it sounds crazy, but here's the other thing that just sits in that hole. Look at it. It's round, and the top part has a process on it. Look at that. See it there? It's as though it's actually come in and cut the hole out. And there's the entrance on the side. I'll just adjust it so you can somehow work out maybe a bit better. Actually, this is taken by a telescope, obviously from Earth, so it's actually clear on the video, that one. But it does show something round just sitting in there. Here's the other one of that thing coming out of that hole, and look how there's one next to it as well. It's as though it's been tunneled out rather than hit by a meteor, and there's that thing just sticking out of it. It's bizarre. Here's the other picture of all these weird things sticking out of the other one. They could be growths or something. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. This one got my eye. Look at it. It just sits covertly on the edge of that. And these other weird tubes coming out. What is that? I'll just try to adjust the exposure. I don't think I can do much to it. It's hiding in the shadow. It's perfect. It's like a perfect cylinder. Pretty hard to do anything with that one. Now that one is meant to be a meteor hole, but look at it. It's like a cone, and the hole seems to be on this side here. It's as though it's been drilled out somehow. And obviously there's that thing that appears to be flying out at it's like a base actually, isn't it? I mean, that isn't a structure. You can see through that sort of trail behind it. You can see the edge of that. It has a shadow to the left side, which means it's correct shadow and a lighting for that exposure. So it's obviously an object there because it produces shadow, but obviously that there is like a quick speed trail, like a jet trail that it leaves behind it as it goes out at high speed. That's the only I can come up with that one. It's bizarre. So that's why this picture of Mare Humboldtianum has got me really really scratching myself, because there's just too many other things there, especially that one. Look at that. It just seems to come out of that hole. There it is, and the hole is sort of being cut out as though it's sideways, and there's the hole, and that thing just comes out of it. Are these large natural drilling machines? What are they? That thing just seems to sit there, and it's got that, and it seems to produce that trail coming into there. See what I mean? There's all these holes right next to each other that have that bizarre thing inside. It looks like a big round sphere and a little small sphere on top. That's bizarre as well. That's in one other one. What are these things there? I'll try adjust exposure of that one. I don't know how to comment on that one, but the others you can see are definite things. Especially that thing there, it just sort of sits on the edge. Look at it, it's a perfect cylinder. I'll try to enlarge it, but with some of these you can't enlarge them too much. Okay, that's enough for this one. And I've got one other great one there on which I'll put later.